Today we have a remarkable local story of resilience, motherhood, and advancement in cancer treatment. Brandi Ellis is a patient at Comprehensive Cancer Centers of Nevada, and she's also a mother of 3 who was diagnosed with cancer in May of 2020. She's now joining us to tell us more about her journey and how she uses it to encourage others. And Brandi, I want to thank you for joining us. I can't imagine what you've been through, but we've all been touched by cancer, unfortunately, in some way or another, which is the really saddest thing about this disease. You were, though, diagnosed at a time when the whole country, the world, was going through a pandemic, and I would imagine that just only added to the pain that you were going through.
It sure did. It was lonely, if I'm being honest, but at the same time, trying to find some sort of silver lining. I was able to get treated rather quickly because they weren't performing procedures that were non-essential at the time, so I was able to get in and get care and feel very surrounded by my physicians and caretakers.
And you had stage 2 breast cancer, and you were telling me earlier this was the type of breast cancer that most people don't even normally consider.
Yes,
Can you explain that?
It's a harder type of cancer to detect. It doesn't always form in a lump that you might feel, and mammograms sometimes don't detect it. So you have to advocate for yourself, which I was able to do. I felt very strong and empowered to be able to do so, and working with the doctors at Comprehensive, I was able to push through and have the tests that I needed to determine. And as a matter of fact, 5 years ago today, I got the results of the biopsy.
And today you have no detection of cancer.
No.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you
to
very
that.
much.
Let's talk about when you say that you knew to advocate for yourself. A lot of people don't know that. Where did that strength come from?
If I'm being honest, I think it ironically came from my children and my husband. When you're faced with something and the unknown, hopefully you have a village to surround yourself with. And I did, and I still do to this day. And I looked into their eyes and thought, okay, I need to keep pushing. There's something not right here. I don't feel right. And I had the resources. I am very blessed to have the resources to be able to do that, the health insurance and such. And just not taking no for an answer when something doesn't feel right. And stay up on your screenings. That was the most important thing. That is the most important thing.
So obviously prevention is key, but when you do feel like something is wrong, then like you said, speak up for yourself. When you got that diagnosis, though, even though you knew something wasn't right, what was it like getting that devastating news?
It was the hardest day of my life 5 years ago today, if I'm being honest. My husband, we both work in the gaming industry, and he had returned to property to prepare to reopen the casinos because they were closed, as everyone recalls. And I was home with 3 teenagers doing online school. So it was very close. And when the doctor called, I called my husband and I said, hey, we've got some news. I want to tell the children. And I went downstairs and immediately folded them into the conversation because I needed them. And they needed to know that Mom was about to go through something, and I needed them at my side and with their dad alongside as well.
Wow, you're dropping a lot of gems there to not only advocate for yourself, but to also lean on that support system if you have one. You've actually helped other people who have been in similar situations. What would you say to someone who's watching right now who may just be scared for their life because they've gotten this diagnosis and they don't know what to think?
Reach out. There are resources that people are not aware of all over, not only our community, but social media provides an awful lot of resources. The internet provides resources. Sometimes anonymity makes it easier to reach out because you might be embarrassed or worried or scared, and having somebody out in the virtual land might be of help to you. The work that I'm doing both with Comprehensive Cancer Centers and the Coaches versus Cancer event that's coming up this weekend, I'm hoping to get my name and my face out there to be somebody. If somebody wants to reach out for help, I'm happy to do that. But just know that there's resources all over any of the social sites that people can reach out to.
All right, I'm glad you mentioned the center that you got the help from. You can go there to their website, the Cancer Centers of Nevada. They can help you. They have a website that has all the resources that you may need to find out those answers to those difficult questions. You also mentioned an event that's happening this weekend. Where can people find out more information about that?
They can find out through Coaches versus Cancer, through the American Cancer Society. It's an event that Lon Kruger has had for 18 years here in our community, and it brings basketball coaches from all over the nation together to help raise money for cancer and research and taking care of families while their loved one is being treated.
All right, I love that you're taking the time to share your story, helping others, and doing what you can to move things forward. Thank you so much, and we're so glad that today you are cancer-free, no detection right now. So we really appreciate you sharing the story and hopefully providing some hope to people who are watching right now.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Happy to have